May the face of the Lord shine on you. May He shower His blessing on all that you do. May you never know anguish, sorrow, or strife. Dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of your life.
Howdy, I'm Sue Ellen Jackson, and this is Aware Central Texas Effects of Child Abuse and Neglect. Have you ever volunteered for anything? It's such a rewarding experience. That's what we're going to be talking about for the next few minutes. So go grab that cup of coffee and sit down with us. I hope that at the end of this show, you're going to march right out and go sign up to be a volunteer somewhere, because it really is a blessing, and it can also be part of a healing journey. I have with me a lovely lady who happens to be a volunteer. Welcome, Tracy Claypool.
Hello.
I'm so glad to have you here today. Tracy, you volunteered for Aware,
Yes.
and I've known Tracy for about 3 years, and as the story is with a lot of volunteers, they get busy with their own lives and other things, and they step away from volunteering, but they always come back. And so you're one of our precious volunteers with our agency that had stepped away for a bit, and now you're back, and I'm so glad you're back.
Thank you.
So glad you're here. Tracy, you chose Aware to
Yes.
be a volunteer. Why?
Well, when I had heard of Aware Central Texas, I believe back in 2008, I'm from, I grew up in child abuse with alcohol. And so I've always learned, to reach out and to not be afraid of the shh, let's be quiet and everything, that there is help out there for you. And when I became or reached out in 2008, Aware Central Texas will provide training and coaching, and there's a great support system, and to get you ready, to help those that are in need, to be a listening ear. I know that, I started out as a volunteer, and I did some, field work, and then I had to break away just a little bit to take care of some issues in my own family. My middle daughter, I found out that she was sexually assaulted as a young child. As all teenagers do with peer pressure, they get into drugs and everything. So my family needed me. And so I used what I was trained, or my friends that I met Aware Central Texas, that they train you to reach out and to be a friend. Well, my children needed a listening ear. And so what I learned through Aware Central Texas kind of guided me through what I needed to help at home.
That's beautiful.
And
I love that. Are y'all hearing that? If you are somebody that is a victim of abuse and neglect, whatever that looks like, you can come to decide to volunteer, and the things that you learn in your volunteer experience will actually enhance your own life and your own walk and your own healing journey. So you did several things as a volunteer for Aware. What were the things that you did, and how did you feel about that, and what are you doing now?
Well, when I went out, into the field, I had a friend, that was a part of Aware Central Texas. We went and visited a single mother, with teenage children, or a child that needed special needs, to just I went out and I visited with the mother, got to know where she lived, and to kind of hear her heart, and to just kind of see, the environment that she lived in, and just to kind of get to know them. And then we went back as a team to the office and we worked out a plan. They have a plan of, okay, this is what she needs, or what can we do, like with helping hands or a church or something that can reach out to them if they don't have a lot of money.
So you were able to, you were invited into this lady's home and you gave her the gift of listening. I love what you said about you hear her heart. That is a gift of listening. And you were able to help her access other area agencies that provide services of things like food that she might need.
Right.
Was that a good experience for you?
Yes, it was a real good experience. It just kind of strengthens, you know, your heart and makes you aware. Because we get away from, you know, when back in the old-fashioned days, it takes a community to raise a child.
Right.
And with pressure or things you go through in life, you tend to not want to bother.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's good to keep focused on that there is help. And there is people, you know, like Aware Central Texas that can kind of give you, you know, that back support, say, okay, you know, we're here, we'll help you, and, you know, and so it's been a blessing.
That's lovely. You've been a blessing. I'm sure that family loves you and loved having you there. And then you did that for a while, and then you stepped away because you had some things to deal with your own family, as we all do. And sometimes our problems with our families are bigger than others. And so you were able to take what you learned while you were being trained to be what we call a volunteer family coach and actually apply it to help your own children in your own household.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And then also what I've learned through Aware Central Texas, you know, about going out and volunteer and giving your time. Although when you step away, you know, there might be someone in your neighborhood or at a grocery store or at a park, you know, a stranger that can just come up and just start talking. You'll go, okay, I'm here, I'm using what I've been coached, you know, through Aware Central Texas, and not only going out and visiting with families, you know, that's been through, you know, I guess casework or something like that, but you're also strengthening as a friend, a sister, or someone that can just kind of, okay, this is what you need to do. Why don't you call Aware Central Texas? You're getting that out there, you know, and, you know, I have a neighbor, you know, that has struggled with drug abuse, and she is a recently divorced, and she has children, and she says, Tracy, thank you for just listening to me, you know, or taking time out to talk to me. And it's been a real blessing to get to know that, okay, if I get stuck or if I have a situation out there with my neighbors, I say, okay, Miss Sue Ellen or the volunteer director at Aware Central Texas saying, okay, I gave this advice, or was it good? You know, I'm always knowing that I can go to you guys and say, okay, maybe you can call them and see what's going on and kind of coach them a little bit.
I love that. Thank you so much. We can be your go-to person too. We are always looking for good volunteers, and we hope that you will consider volunteering for us at Aware Central Texas if you're in our community. But if you're not, there's lots of wonderful places where you can actually step out and be part of the solution in your community. Tracy, you are back volunteering with us again. I'm so excited. You called me, I don't know, a few months ago, and you were so excited about a project. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Several months ago, you know, through the life of, you know, my growing up in abuse and dealing with it in my own home and just seeing it all around, you know, around me, is that when we tend to, well, dealing with all of that, I found a pastime that I enjoyed doing back in high school. I enjoy running cross country or track, and so I picked up on that. I enjoy running and exercise, and I had an idea that I brought to Aware Central Texas that maybe we can do a benefit to run a marathon or just an event. If anyone wanted to participate, they can donate $1 for each mile, or if they want to donate anything that their heart desires, you know, and we'll run and we all can get together and exercise and kind of work together and do something positive to reach more people.
That is so neat. You're a runner and you were running and you decided that I could run for Aware Central Texas.
Yes.
So whatever your strengths are, whatever your interests are, you could bring that into the community to volunteer to help others. We're going to hear from Christina. Christina is also a volunteer, and she wants to share her thoughts with her experience with volunteerism.
Hi, I'm Christina Clifford. I've had the privilege and honor to be part of a volunteerism for Aware Central Texas, and I've had an opportunity to be educated in a lot of different services that I did not even know that were around in our city itself, that provide a lot of information for families and children, and mentorship, and just a lot of brother sisterhood and helping others in their time of this crisis that they have in their families. It's wonderful to be a volunteer, to really help someone in need, not realizing that even a moment, a time, 15 minutes to an hour to, you know, would just make a difference in somebody's world. And especially for the children, because when you volunteer to help children, mothers and fathers and their families, it does make a big difference. And to be there and do what we say we can do for them, to be very important to be dependable, that they have someone to depend on when they're going through these things. You know, it just makes their future, a hope for their future. And for a volunteer, it just, it's very humbling. When things in our own lives that are going on is nothing compared to these families that have these very dramatic and events that happen in their lives. But to be able to be a part of listening to them and helping them in their spirit, health in their body and their mind, to get them in a place where they can, they have a future, they know things are going to get better, that they have someone that can listen to them. It's very rewarding. It's very rewarding. I know that there's been things that have happened, you know, as a young child, you know, that have a little bit of experience, but to have had a volunteer, a person or agency to be there as another member of the family, just to be there for listening and helping with resources, and just the respect that comes with these agencies for these families, these people, you know, that have so many needs. But the most important need is for someone to listen, you know, to hear their voices, hear their concerns, and if there's any education that can be provided for them, it's just a big, big, major importance in their life, the tools that they need to help them get on the road to healing. For me, met some very, very special and extraordinary people. Their children, you know, helping with a family, being able to help them while they're going through the resources, helping with their children, just a multitude of different things that a volunteer can do in the life of these families. The children, I know when I read the quote and the statement of, you know, for the world, one person can make a difference, but for that one person, you could be the world to them, just with your time and the resources that you have to help them along. And it's very, very important that we always help one another. And in that help, there's love. And you get much more back than you ever can imagine your time being for these families and these children. So I really just encourage everyone and anyone, even if it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I mean, and even we can all spare that, even in a week. It means a lot. It means a lot, and we'll start making a change of a world one person at a time and one family at a time. And these children, our children's futures, are going to be so much better off in our future.
You just heard from Christina. She's one of our lovely volunteers, and you could be a volunteer too if you would like to. I have with me Nancy Lechuga. Nancy is very, very, very special to me. She works with me at Aware, and she is our volunteer director. But before we get into that, Nancy, I just want to tell you how much I love you and how much I know what you're up to. Nancy is a foster mom. She has 3 children. One is an infant, and she is raising them, and these children are survivors of abuse. And that's not been an easy road for you, Nancy, but you managed to juggle it. And not only that, Nancy is very active in her church. You're the choir director, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And she sings lovely, and you keep a very busy schedule.
Yes.
So between juggling being a foster mom of troubled teenagers and an infant that was abused, and being responsible in the church with being the choir director, you are also our volunteer director. And I think you are awesome.
Oh, well, thank you. I
And
receive that.
You, when you started 3 years ago, we had maybe 100 volunteers, and now we have over 300. And I have to give your gift as being a lovely person and your diplomacy credit for the drawing of volunteers. I think that it must be hard to be a volunteer director. What is your biggest challenge in that role in terms of getting people to come in and keeping them with us?
Well, you know, I really think that trying to get everybody on the same page and the same timing and trying to do trainings, a lot of times you tend to lose people because of life circumstances or the possibility of not being a good day for one than the other.
In terms of scheduling the classes
and the instructors, you know, getting the instructors set up and making sure that everybody can meet the schedule that we set.
That's a lot of work, isn't it?
It is.
For our agency, we require people, you can do this if you want to, if you're in our area, we require people to go through 16 hours of really intensive training, don't we, Nancy?
Yes.
You have to have a clean background, because these, what we call certified volunteers, are people that actually go in and visit people in the home. Like Tracy was talking earlier, she went in and visited with a lady who was really struggling, and we're just folks in the neighborhood, and Tracy heard her heart, which I love that she said that.
Yes.
So if you wanted to be what we call a volunteer family coach, you would go through our training, and Nancy is the lovely person that you would get to work with, and Nancy coordinates this training, and it's not done by us, is it, Nancy?
Right, exactly. We get the professionals in the community to come out and do a piece on domestic violence, and we have a CPS come in that talks about what they're doing for abuse in Texas. One thing, that is a struggle for me, but I believe truly that it is a ministry when you volunteer and you're giving yourself and your time. It's very precious, but the outcome and what we can do and succeed together is amazing.
It is amazing,
we can change lives. We can have the collaboration with people in the community and services. And we are not all about just having our own zone. We want to be able to give out as much resources and work with the community as possible.
That's a big thing too. I think people need to understand that wherever you live, there are some really good agencies out there that need your help. If you happen to live in our community, give us a call. But even if being what we call a family coach and visiting people in the home is not really something that you would want to do, what are some of the other things that you can do with our agency, for example?
Okay, well, we have administrative work. We're always in need of someone answering the phones or making copies, and you don't have to be certified to do that.
Right, and by certified, you don't have to go through the 16-hour intensive training to do that.
So we're always in need of someone to be in-house and help with projects that we have. We also have fundraisers and just making phone calls and contacts, and is a big help. If you have say a testimony that you want to share, or you want to help with outreach and to get the word out and of success, after their prevention works, that is definitely something that we do. We do anti-victimization, bullying. We have a lot of instructors that are doing parenting.
A person can be a trained instructor.
Right.
Now, with those instructors, they have to have
a degree.
They have to have at least a bachelor's.
The bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
But the other forms would be just support for the staff and being able to do things that are just time consuming, that take a lot of time and prepare, for events or anything that we have going on.
Yeah, there's always something going on, and with most nonprofit agencies, they're running bare bones staff. I mean, you're not going to have a lot of fluff.
Right.
And I know of a lot of nonprofit agencies in any community that they don't have that person that can pick up the phone, or they don't have that person that enjoys filing or typing, or can breeze in and get things organized and straighten up things.
And one of my volunteers, which is our webmaster, she comes in and she has opened so many doors for us because of her skills and her professional information that she gives and helps us with videoing and doing different ideas and just coordinating.
Let's talk about her for a minute, because she is somebody that's very dear to our heart, a very special young lady, and she has been with us probably for 2 years, 3 years.
Yes.
And as what happens, it's a normal thing. She was active with us for a little while, and then she got busy with things, and now she's back. Yes. And this young lady is retired military, and she came to us as a survivor of abuse, and her skill set is working with websites. And I would encourage y'all to go on our website, because it is completely designed and organized and run by a volunteer, and I think it's exceptional.
Exactly.
And she's doing some very interactive things with our website. We're doing that weekly webcam
Yes.
thing. It's so fun. But whatever your skill set is, bring it to us. Bring it to a nonprofit in your community, because I guarantee you there's somebody out there that needs what you do. Yes. What else do we have? We have people that make crafts.
Right.
We have a special event every December, and that requires us to have handmade jewelry and handmade pot holders and all kinds of crafts and things like that.
Right. We, also just going out to try to get books, items for, the bookstore and different events, the baked goods, and just having groups, come and, donate what they can.
So we have, in our particular agency, we have what we call volunteer family coaches that are certified.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a relationship,
Yes.
quite a commitment.
Yes.
We also have volunteer family coaches. I mean, I just said that, didn't I? We also have volunteer instructors. And they do have to go through the training and be certified in that 16-hour course. We have office support.
Yes.
We have public speakers. We have people that like to bake.
Yes.
We have people
Anti-victimization. You know.
that teach classes. We like people to come in that like to do crafts, that like to organize things, that like to clean things. There's any number of volunteer opportunities for a person out there. Why do you love doing what you do? And I know you do.
Yeah, well, like I said, I feel like it is a ministry. I feel
It is
like,
a
you know,
ministry.
people that have the love to help others volunteer their time
kinda
and
neat
give
to be around
themselves.
them, isn't
Yeah,
it?
because, you know, when it's all said and done, you know, our time is precious.
Yeah.
And
It's a
to
gift,
be
isn't
able
it?
to give that out and give yourself and give, you know, time away from your family and time away from, you know, your job or what have you, really plays a big part in, I think, healing and just also when I know for myself, when I do something for others, it tends to take my focus off of me and what's going on with me or what struggles that I'm facing. And of course the Lord is number one of all, that, you know, His guidance and support and directs me to be able to share and open the hearts to volunteers so they can open the hearts to give to the community.
It is a gift.
So
it is a gift. Volunteers oftentimes get
Right.
way more than
Than
what they give.
Exactly.
Nancy, thank you for being
You're so
here.
welcome.
We're running out of time.
Okay.
I could talk about this for
I
hours,
know.
but I know you need to go.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. And think about volunteering. Give us a call at
Right.
Aware Central Texas. Thank you.
Thank you.
May the face of the Lord shine on you. May He shower His blessing on all that you do. May you never know anguish, sorrow, or strife. Dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of your life.